Hi, and welcome to our Sports World on Wednesday, the 7th of February. Getting a little bit colder here, and we're threatened snow tomorrow. Just a bit of soccer to start with. The last game deciding the Asian Nations Cup finalists and the African Cup finalists. The last game just finished with Ivory Coast winning over Congo 1-0, so they'll play Nigeria in the final. Nigeria beat South Africa on penalties, 4-2 on penalties in the other semi-final. So it'll be an Ivory Coast Nigeria final. Just checking the world rankings there. Nigeria are 42nd in the world, and Ivory Coast are 50th. So you wouldn't think to be setting any fires with that. I think Senegal, the top African team, was something like 20th. So it definitely is a surprise. In the Asian equivalent, you're going to have Qatar and Jordan. And then we have even worse rankings. We have Qatar at 58th, even though they won the Asian Cup last time. And Jordan are actually 87th, even though Jordan had a great 2-0 win over South Korea yesterday. And South Korea would be 23rd, which says rankings don't really mean a thing. Especially when you consider that in the world rankings, America, USA are somehow 12th in the world. Now, how anybody could justify the US being 12th in the world in soccer and football, I have no idea. They've done nothing. They struggled to qualify for the World Cup. I remember them beaten by Panama, of all teams, losing out in the World Cup qualifications a while back. I can't remember at one stage how many they got, and that was, I think, back in 2002 when in the Japanese Korean World Cup, where they had a great player called Landon Donovan, and they were unlucky not to get a bit further because Germany beat them, and I think a German guy clearly handled the ball on the goal line to stop the US getting the winning goal. But that as it may, I just was having a little look. I mean, Jordan were 87th in the world, just having a little look at that game against Korea, and they were all over South Korea. It wasn't as if it was close. They were looked really good. They had some lovely soccer as well, especially taken by the guy who got the first goal, Naimat, and tremendously skillful player. And they have more than him. He's just playing. I think he's playing the Qatar League. The European clubs wanted him, but he didn't bother going. So it's not all about money, and that'll be it then. So who do we fancy? Possibly Nigeria, I suppose, and the other one, the way I see it, I mean, Qatar will be the favourites, but I would reckon if Jordan played in the semi-final, they'll be very hard to beat. Then going to a little bit of horse racing before I let you go. And my first horse yesterday was a non-runner. I think it was at Huntingdon. The second one did the usual running backwards. But then at Fairyhouse, my next two were winners, which kind of a little bit of a shock. Evie's Vladamir won a 13-8, and Mispronunciation won a 3-1. So you can check if you want. If you don't believe me, I can't believe it myself. But there we go. So, and actually, the first two yesterday were at Ludlow. Just checking that now, because today's fantastic tips. One of them is at Huntingdon tomorrow. For tomorrow in the 250, that's a horse called Handstands. 11-4, 3-1 you might get. And the 240 at Doncaster got a horse called Elans, 5-1. And then we come to Thurles, the mighty Thurles. And we have a horse called Mighty Tom, at 15-2. Maybe you might even get 8-1 on that if you want. And finally in the 450, at Thurles, a horse called Ned in the Park. Might be worth doing a Yankee, a 1 cent Yankee or something like that to have a bit of fun. But as I say, it's other than that, the sport is pretty spare on the ground. But then we have the build up to the Super Bowl, so something that I'm getting slightly interested in again. I think everybody is now because of Mr. Kelsey's girlfriend. He's flying all the way. He's doing her massive concerts in Japan, and then she's flying all the way to Las Vegas to watch himself in the Super Bowl, and will then fly back. And that's what love is all about, So I don't know. I'm watching. As I've said before, Mahomes has lit up for me, has lit up the American football in the last 4 or 5 years. The stuff he can do, if he's taken out. But then, you would always say, from any sports point of view, the opposition will try to take him out, and none more so than American football. That's what most of the guys out there do, is to take the fullback out or the quarterback out. But nobody succeeded in the last 4 or 5 years with him, and he has good defense, and we'll see what happens. But I would definitely fancy them to win it. I know they're underdogs, but they've been underdogs twice now. The last two, Baltimore and against Buffalo in the previous round, and I don't think that counts for much. He's played under pressure before, and he can pull anything out. So yeah, I'll be thinking that way. Other than that, now we'll talk again tomorrow, being Thursday. Be a few soccer matches happening, I guess, somewhere, anywhere. There'll be a ladies' football match somewhere. So thank you for listening, and see you tomorrow.